Welcome back to the Rebuilt Parish podcast. We're so grateful that you're here today. Well, today, this is going to be a solo episode. We haven't done one of those for a while. So today we are taking a break from our series of pouring into yourself as a parish leader, and we're going to take some time to get ourselves in a mode of reflection. Today we're talking all about doing a year in review and evaluating how things went in the past year at your parish. Reflecting on all of this now can help set the stage for January and the new year and get you in a great place to be intentionally planning and growing your parish in the year ahead. As we talk about this process of doing an annual review or an annual evaluation of your parish, let's first talk about why this is so important. So this is crucial for parish leadership for more than one reason. It provides a structured way to celebrate your accomplishments, to learn from your setbacks, and ensure that your parish's mission is being actively advanced. Let's take a look at some of the specifics and what it can help with. So first, it helps you affirm progress and celebrate the wins. Listen, I get it. We often focus on what still needs to be done in parish life because there's always so much more to be done. But by taking time to celebrate this last year's achievements, this can be so affirming for you and your parish leadership team. Recognizing successes, whether it's in ministries, events, or parish engagement, helps to build morale, and it also honors the staff and volunteers and reinforces a positive culture right within the parish. The second benefit of this and why we do it is because we learn from our challenges and our setbacks. Every parish encounters struggles, whether it's meeting goals, managing resources, or responding to unforeseen issues. I used to joke that you would never know what was coming or who was going to show up at that office door needing help and sometimes requiring hours at a time. When we evaluate these challenges, it helps our leadership team to identify some root causes and make adjustments that can prevent similar struggles in the future. This not only strengthens resilience, but it also fosters a growth mindset within your leadership team. The third reason why we do this is it helps to align us with our mission and vision. This annual review process helps leaders assess if the parish is genuinely progressing towards its mission of making disciples and engaging in the community. It provides a clear snapshot of whether the parish's actions and programs are aligned with its core missions, and it enables your leadership team to make necessary pivots in response to the evolving needs of your parish. One of the next reasons we've got here is it helps you with data-driven and reflective goal setting. Reflecting on what worked and what didn't creates a foundation for setting realistic, mission-aligned goals. It helps leadership prioritize resources and efforts in areas that will yield the most impact. This makes future planning more intentional and more effective, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. This also helps to build accountability and transparency. This yearly evaluation cultivates a culture of accountability. So achievements and areas for growth are all openly discussed. This transparency strengthens trust between leaders, staff, and the parish community, showing that the parish is dedicated to responsible stewardship and continuous improvement. Because if we're not working to continuously improve, are we being good stewards of what God has given us? We have to continue working on that. And doing this evaluation will help us identify where we still need to improve. Another reason why we do this is that it fosters team unity and purpose. When parish staff and leadership review the past year together, they gain a shared understanding of the parish's journey, including victories and struggles. This shared experience fosters unity, strengthens team bonds, and energizes everyone towards common goals for the year ahead. And I can tell you, when I did this with my team at my parish, I'm going to share some of those details in a bit. But one of the great things was we really, we rallied around those wins we had and those biggest achievements. But then we also kind of reflected and were there for each other as we talked about those struggles. And we realized that we got through all of those struggles together, and it just made us stronger as a team. And one of our final reasons for why we do this year in review is that it positions us for long-term growth and stability. A year in review is also about stewardship of time, talent, and resources. By evaluating past initiatives and their outcomes, your leaders can gain insights that lead into a wiser resource allocation and stronger community engagement. This creates a stable foundation for sustainable parish growth and ensures that the parish can continue making a lasting impact. So just to recap here, this year in review is a chance for parish leaders to pause, reflect, and recalibrate. It ensures that the parish efforts are purposeful, responsive to community needs, and aligned with the greater mission of making disciples and nurturing them along the discipleship path. This practice lays a firm foundation for a thriving parish community, rooted in mission and prepared for the future. Now let's talk about, how do you do this year in review and this evaluation with your team? What does that look like? So the first thing I'll share, and I'm going to give you the questions and we'll also put them in the show notes, but I gave these questions to my team ahead of time and asked them to write their answers down and bring them to our strategic offsite that we typically had in the beginning of February. And so I asked them to take a look at everything we did in the last year and help you, just kind of write down, okay, what went well, what didn't, what goals did we achieve, what didn't we achieve? And then we bring them all together at this meeting. I had big pieces of paper on the wall. You can do it with the big Post-it note easels. You could do this on a whiteboard. You can type this out and project it on a screen. But then I wrote everybody's answers down. So for example, in the goals achieved column, everybody put down goals that they felt that we achieved as a team and that their ministry team accomplished as well. And it was amazing seeing everybody's results up there. We also did this. So we do this for every single category of question that, again, we're going to talk about here. And then it helped set us up for that goal setting then at that strategic offsite. So let's talk through some of those questions, and then you'll be able to connect the dots and see how this is going to help you with your annual planning in your parish. So the first question is, what were our biggest accomplishments? And I let them know that we were celebrating the big wins here. And then also, some of the small ones, but really we're looking at the big wins. Was it that we revamped an entire ministry, or that our attendance was up by 40%, or giving was up by 30%? Whatever these were, we put them up in the big achievements. And again, it was so cool seeing what everybody brought to the table and seeing those big parish wins overall, and then those ministry wins. The next one is, what goals did we meet? And this was important because this helps to build that confidence in the team that when we set a goal as a team, we can achieve it. So by seeing all of those goals that we achieved up on that wall, it built up our confidence as a leadership team. It also helped us to see, wow, we really did a lot this year. And again, we know that in sometimes parish ministry, it can feel like the work is never done. So it's important to take that time to celebrate those goals that your team worked on. Now, the next part of The next part of this is the not as fun part, but this is crucial. What goals didn't we achieve? So we take a look at the goals that we had set from last year, and we wrote down any that we didn't achieve. When we did this recap, we kind of talked about, okay, maybe why didn't we achieve this goal? Did we have to sacrifice this goal in order to make another goal happen? Did something shift? Did something happen? And it really helped us to just go through, and it wasn't a fault finding. It wasn't like, oh, your ministry didn't do this. It wasn't that at all. It was more an attitude of learning and kind of digging in and saying, okay, why didn't we achieve this goal? And should we be thinking about this goal? Did it maybe not fit in with our mission and vision? Was it a not yet goal? Is it one that maybe we should set for this upcoming year? So it really fosters that communication and dialogue to help you and your team set those new goals for the next year. Another question that I love asking in this annual review is, what lessons did we learn? Now, these lessons can be anything big or small. And so sometimes the lessons are, was it a hiring lesson? Was it a lesson we learned that, hey, this particular ministry did really well, or this volunteer event, we learned how we could do this so much better. And it's important to celebrate those lessons learned too, so that we, don't make some of those mistakes again, but then also we can say, oh, this was a lesson in a good way. Here's how we'll apply this in the next year. It's really eye-opening. Another question to ask is, what staff changes did we have? Now, some of these staff changes can be maybe why you didn't reach some of your goals, or maybe they were stumbling blocks for your parish. But it's important to note as you're doing this, any staffing changes. And we know that in this parish renewal work, that sometimes not everybody is as excited about change as the parish leadership team. And so sometimes we are onboarding new people, and sometimes we're offboarding people that maybe it's just not the right fit anymore. And it's important to document these so that we can take a look at, oh yeah, we didn't have that person that's amazing. We didn't have that person on our team until, November of that year. So, that makes sense. And it kind of just helps you see who was on our team. And it also can help you identify some gaps, maybe some positions you haven't filled yet. And then the last question that we ask in this annual reflection is, what struggles did we have? And we know that there can be plenty of struggles. I have to share one that happened in our parish a few years ago, and it was a very, very cold winter, and it was Martin Luther King weekend. I remember vividly. It was so terribly cold. The boiler in the rectory went. It was too old. It broke. And as a result, all of the pipes in the building froze. Now, our rectory is also where our parish offices are. And it was a whole debacle trying to get a brand new boiler in for a big building that's like 150 years old. So we went through 3 months with no heat, no water in our offices. So when we looked at, what did we accomplish? What happened this year? That was one of those struggles that we wrote down. And it was important to look back and say, wow, that was really hard. And we walked through it. Wow, we persisted anyway. Whoa, look at how God took care of this whole situation and turned something that was so hard to go through in the moment. But we looked back and realized, oh my goodness, we can still accomplish so much even amidst all of this struggle. So it's so important to acknowledge these. And then if there are any struggles that, were maybe self-imposed, or struggles, things that you could have changed, it's important to talk through some of those too. So now that you have all of those questions, let's look forward and let's talk about how we can use this reflection for goal setting. So if you take a look then at everything your team has come up with, you've now seen the big accomplishments. You've seen some of the goals that you've achieved together. You've seen the goals that you set last year that you didn't achieve yet. You see your struggles, your staff changes, you see lessons learned. Now, this is what's going to help you come up with those new goals that you're setting in that strategic offsite. And what's great about this is you can take a look, especially at those goals that you didn't achieve yet. You can take a look at what you were capable of achieving in the last year. And then you take a look at your parish mission and vision and make some of those decisions. And this really helps to foster that communication on, okay, what are our big three this year? What are the three things we really want to accomplish that we can take into this new year? And when you have everyone sitting and discussing all of these, you all end up getting on the same page. And so then those three goals, then you have them and you can walk cohesively, arm in arm as a team to achieve these together. So here's my action step for you. This is to schedule some time. I would schedule this time in January for you to complete your own year in review and send these questions to your team and ask them to complete them. And then schedule that strategic offsite. And if you're looking for how do I do a strategic offsite, we've got you. I'm going to include some links in the show notes, and that's got links to an annual planning workshop series we did where it teaches you all about how to have and how to hold one of those annual planning offsites. So don't worry, we've got everything you need right in the show notes for you. So, parish leader, we hope that this was so helpful for you. Just remember that God's got you all the way through this. He's brought you to where you are in your parish right now. And when you take a look and really go through this review and this reflection, you're going to see just how far He's brought you and your team in the past year. Well, I pray that this was helpful for you. Let us know on social media if you tried this out and how this went with your team. Have a blessed week, and we'll see you soon.